Hey guys, Dave with the First Place Auto Parts. Thanks for joining me in the studio today. You know, recently I did a video where I took a look at the various GM LS based engines to identify which ones made sense for engine swaps in classic American muscle cars and trucks. One of the things that struck me about the LS engine in particular, when I looked at a lot of them under the hood of late model vehicles, but also in classics, was that this was kind of an ugly engine. The reality is that GM puts a plastic cover over them for a reason in the late model vehicles that they show up in. It's just not attractive. Also, the engine itself was made to be a low profile engine, meaning that it had to fit under the hood of the Corvette first and foremost, and then everything else is bigger than that, so they made the engine very short. You can do that with fuel injection. The problem is when you put it into a classic American muscle car or even say a square body truck, is these engine bays were huge and they just don't look right. What we have now available to us through the automotive aftermarket, and particularly Holley, is that we have some parts that we can put on the LS engine, and we're going to take a look at these parts today. They can make it look like an old school Chevy small block. The parts are available on our First Place Auto Parts website, and the quality of these parts are second to none. And the thought that Holley has put into these things really pays homage to yesteryears, back when things were hot rodding and we were changing parts to make things not only go fast but look cool. So let's stay tuned to the video, and we're going to go ahead and start taking a look at the parts you can put on your GM LS motor to make it look cool. Hey guys, if you like today's video, please consider subscribing to the First Place Auto Parts YouTube channel. We're going to continually be adding new videos every week, and we go to some pretty cool car guy stuff I'm pretty sure you're going to want to see. The GM LS engine has taken over the hot rod world by storm. Look, it is the #1. It has become the de facto replacement and engine swap engine for traditional muscle cars and trucks. The Ford guys get it too. You're starting to see these things show up in a lot of 32 Ford builds as well. So anything that makes 350 to 400 horsepower stock is okay with me. Look, it's going to be a way better engine than the 190 horsepower old school lump you pulled out of the front fenders of your classic American muscle car. So the GM LS engine is here to stay, and the first place we're going to look at to make it look cooler, if you will, is at the intake manifold. And man, I'm really surprised at the quantity and the quality of the aluminum intakes that are offered by Holley. Look, they've gone long yard into designing these things, not only for performance, but also looks. The Holley designed intakes that are available at the First Place Auto Parts website were designed to use either carburetors or a fuel injection throttle body. Intakes that range from dual to single plane performance intakes, dual quad low-rise intakes, all the way to Holley's high ram intake that resembles a traditional tonneau ram are available for the GM LS series engine. And just beneath that really cool intake manifold is going to lay what GM calls a valley plate. Traditional small block Chevys, the old school ones, the intake manifold actually sealed up that area where the lifters resided. In an LS engine, that's not the case, and an LS engine has a valley plate to seal that area up. The stock valley plate, well, it has all the charisma of a 3-day-old tuna sandwich that you left in your car over the weekend, which means it has no charisma at all, and we've got to do something about that valley plate to update its looks. Holley has you covered again, offering both a more stylish flat valley cover or the classic hot rod inspired version that features fins running down the center of it, and all of them being available in several different powder coated finishes, including Chevy Orange. Okay, we have the intake figured out. It's looking good. It's looking old school. As you work your way down the engine, we run smack into perhaps the most regrettable looking part of the whole thing on the GM LS, and that are the valve covers. GM, in their wisdom, which wasn't a bad idea from a packaging standpoint, mounted the coils, 8 of them, on top of the actual valve covers themselves. You can relocate those coils somewhere else and hide them, but then what you're left with the stock GM valve covers are these warts that stick up, which are the mounting bosses for the coil packs themselves. We've got to do something about the valve covers on the LS engine, because that is where your eyes are drawn to instantly. Now in the past, if you wanted to run a set of aftermarket valve covers, you had to relocate the coils. Look, the whole idea was to get the coils off the valve covers in the first place. What Holley has done is sidestep that, and what they've made is a 2-piece valve cover that looks retro, but actually hides the coils. And a great thing about this thing is it's only 3.6 inches tall, fully installed. So you're not going to run into issues with things like power boosters, or if you have a supercharger on top of the motor, you're going to have plenty of clearance, and it's going to look cool. Everything from natural aluminum to powder coated black Red and Chevy orange valve covers are offered at the First Place Auto Parts website. Styles range from thin valve covers with the classic Holley logo in them to the Chevrolet script valve covers offered in aluminum. Holley even has a set of Chevrolet script valve covers that mimic the old original steel valve covers found on the 265 and 283 cubic inch small blocks of the Tri-5 Chevrolets. There are so many variations, colors, and styles of valve covers available on the First Place Auto Parts website for the GM LS engine. I'm going to go ahead and let the pictures do the talking so you can see what kind of options there are available for you when it comes time to putting your engine together to match your vehicle's attitude and style. And like the proverbial cherry on top of a cake, you've got the air cleaner that ties it all together. Holley has air cleaner assemblies that matches the valve covers both in the styles with finned or non-finned, but also all the colors that they have available as well. So you've got you covered. It's the small details, guys, that makes a difference. It ties everything together. Don't be afraid to open your hood. Don't have Frankenstein's monster underneath there with an engine that performs great but that looks like it just doesn't belong. These Holley products, we offer all of them on our First Place Auto Parts website, and it's super easy to use. So whatever attitude you want to have underneath your hood, maybe you want it to be all blacked out, maybe you want to paint the block orange and have some matching valve covers and assemblies that go along with that. Either way, we've got you covered, and so does Holley. If it looks right, it is right, and in the case, Holley products are the right products for your vehicle's engines. Guys, I appreciate you watching this video. I hope it was helpful in understanding what parts are available to make your LS engine look like it belongs between the fenders of your classic American muscle car or truck. Look, the GM LS engine is a natural fit with the cars that we love. It runs like a scalded dog. It's lightweight and it's well packaged. Now it can look cool too. Until next time, keep the hammer down and keep it between the guardrails.